Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe Podcast. I'm your host, Joe, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Joe.
Now that is what I call an hour-long special.
From the moment it dropped, I looked at the timestamp and I was just like, what is this? 60 minutes. I think it was 61 minutes because, credits and shit. But, it was actually an hour-long thing. And I was like, bravo, Mappa. Bravo to you. You did it.
Yeah, we're basically getting two movies that we don't have to pay to go see, which, holy shit, they did it right. They really did it right.
This is, Joe, this is the best case scenario that we were talking about back in,
I think it was this time last year, around, or maybe a little bit beforehand, because I remember January-ish is when it started back up again, right around, early spring, end of winter, where we were like, okay, how is this, what are they going to do with the ending?
Yeah, and now we're seeing what they're doing with the ending, and I am very pleased with it. So let's not waste another second. Also, again, so you should know this, but a spoiler review. We're just going to be spoiling the shit out of the episode 88, the final season finale, episode 1 special, part 1, whatever the hell you want to call it. So, Joe, if you remember the last time, episode 87, cast your mind back, if you will, a year, perhaps even longer than a year. I don't remember. I was a tad irate, a bit upsetty spaghetti. Other agitated similes that you could insert here. But I was not happy with episode 87 because half of it was spent in a flashback that I did not give a single shit about. And I was like, man, they tease us at the end with the fucking torpedo titans and Aaron just being like, all right, bitches, I'm here. It's time to start the rumble. And everyone's like, oh no, it's the big rumble. This is a big problem. And I was like, I want to see the big rumble. I want to see what happens when all these fucking giants are stomping down with their big ass feet and they're killing all the Marlian people. The special opens up with the rumbling, and we get to see it in all of its gruesome, horrific glory. I did not expect to see a boy's face get sandwiched between a foot and the concrete, but boy golly did I fucking get that.
We saw a whole lot of murder.
There's so much attention to detail when it comes to showing the rumbling, though. You have so obviously Aaron is doing his little snake dance walk thing because he's the horrific bone monster, and then you have all of the colossal titans. And there was a little fact that I don't know if I completely forgot it, but it was pushed way to the back of my head, where it's the amount of heat that titans produce, and I was like, oh right. So as they're walking through civilization, buildings and trees are just igniting into flames. There are people who are just charred remains. They haven't been stepped on. They're just too close to all the titans. And it's like, oh my god, it's such carnage. Venom 2, let there be carnage. No. Fuck that movie. Those movies are bad. Hate them. Take that subtitle, put it on this. So this would be Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3, part 1, the actual finale. Here we go, baby. Let there be carnage. That's what I'm going to rebrand this hour-long special. All of that. It's perfect.
They did a little bit of time where they dedicated to two immigrant kids, and it's the whole point of what they were trying to display was oh, they're saving up money for the future, and then just like that, their whole lives were ended. And it's very much, my man's making some commentary about how life is so short, and it's anything can happen, and how it's very pessimistic, it's very bleak, and you really get that feeling. I think I held my breath the first 10 minutes of this hour-long special. I was just like, wow, they're showing everything. This is amazing. They are not holding back, and the message is hitting. This is it. There is we're not sugarcoating this. This is how brutal the world can be.
Yeah. And especially with, I'm going to contradict myself now because I kind of we get a small bit of flashback in this towards the beginning where we see Aaron after he left the Paradise Island group, and he's off on his own in Marley for the first time. And he sees that kid for the first time, and he has the breakdown after he saves him because he's like, I'm going to kill you in the future. I know this. My Titan powers, I can see that sort of crap. And he just keeps saying, I'm sorry to the kid. And I was just something about this feels still so strange to me because we have Aaron, who's a character who strides for nothing but freedom. He wants to be free, and he wants to protect the people that he cares about. And yet he seems to be following this script. It's it's an interesting contradiction. I don't think he may be a hypocrite in some people's eyes, but I don't know if he sees himself that way. And the fact that we get to see him really struggling with this in this flashback of his, because he's like, all right, I don't save you kids. So he turns away at first when he's trying to save him in the alley from getting beaten up by all the other guys. But then we cut away and we see that he has saved him. And then he has the breakdown because he's like, I saved you, but I'm gonna doom you and your entire people later on, like in a few months or something like that. And so there's something so interesting about watching Aaron grapple with his future memories and with what he thinks he should do and what he believes is right and what he thinks will actually save the people he cares about. There's so much there, Joe. And again, this is like the first 10 minutes. Granted, it's all been set up. You know, all the mechanics of like how Titans work, the feelings of Aaron, and like seeing his growth over the course of these entire past 87 episodes.
Still, it was super necessary and super beneficial.
Yes.
Especially to start off the rumbling. Because I'm like, okay, are we going to get backstories of these kids? And it was like, no, you just get like a quick 5-minute thing and boom, it hits you. When you see the kid's teeth slowly flying out of his mouth, I was like, whoa. And another good thing that this episode does is it doesn't just dedicate the time to Aaron and all our main people. There's also a lot of time dedicated to a lot of like the no-name Marleyan people, or even just like our main characters' families that we haven't seen in like 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And which is really important because this isn't necessarily all about Aaron destroying stuff. It's also, you have to see the other people's perspective of like, wow, it's really, I have to just sit here and wait for a Titan to stomp on me. There is nothing I can do. And like that feeling of like seeing it in their eyes and you're like, holy fuck, this is horrifying.
Yeah, like Isayama, Wit Studios, and MAPPA have all crafted a world where we're not just following Aaron. Like, we haven't just been following Aaron for many, many episodes. We're looking at the fallout of just the actions of a bunch of different people and just seeing how that affects everything and everyone that's present in this world. And that's one of the reasons why this is so great, because you feel the ramifications of everything. Every person's actions affect other people and affect the world around them. And so it's just this cascade of domino bullshit that has led to a bunch of big, muscly boys stomping the shit out of a bunch of tiny people.
Yeah, and like that's like the first 10, 15-ish minutes. I literally paused the episode. I'm like, okay, are we halfway through? And I was like, oh my god, there's 45 fucking minutes left. I'm like, what? And there's parts within the part one.
Parts within the parts!
The fucking partception is killing me. But we, Joe, let's talk a little bit about the Scouts, our Paradise Islanders. What's going on with them?
Hell yeah. So we catch up with them. They've made it to whatever their port is.
All the people have already evacuated. And basically they're like, okay, we have a limited amount of time before the rumbling actually hits us. So we have to get this flying plane or flying boat. It's a plane all set and ready to go.
I fucking love that. It's a plane, guys. It's just a fucking plane. At this port, though, we get some more character work going on because, as we found in episode 87, Annie kind of lost all of her will to fight because she was like, the only reason I'm fighting is to try and get back and like save my father. And at this point, the rumblings already hit Marley and probably killed everyone there. So she's like, I've lost my will to fight. So she's out of the fight. And pretty much everyone is kind of like, we understand you fought for too long. You never really wanted to do this, so you're good. You can get on the boat with the kids, you can protect them, and go off in your own way. But we also get to see a little bit of this beautiful budding romance between Armin and Annie. And I'm
so happy you like it.
Because it's one of these things where it's not your cliche. I mean, it might be a little bit cliche, but like it's more than that. It's not just like a simple thing where it's like, you know, boy meets girl, girl sees boy, they fall in love, but kiss, bada bing, bada boom, it's over. Like, no.
This one was in Iraq.
This one was in Iraq. But it is the fact that it's such you're at the end of the world, and you're not sitting there like, there's a little bit of hand holding, but you're not sitting there holding hands and just being all like, oh, everything is going to be great and fine. It's like, no. They both understand that they're probably going to die, or at least Armin is probably going to die, as he makes very clear. He has a little moment with her where he's talking about how he hates being called a good person, because of course Annie still thinks of him as a good person because she was one of the instigators of the initial attack on Parody that started this entire fucking thing. But he is very much like, please don't call me a good person. I don't like that phrase. I am not a good person. I have killed hundreds of women and children. I have killed friends. Like, Armin, we could see in the last part, he was going through it. Like, the confrontation that he had with, I think it's like Daz and whatever the hell, the other two guys guarding the flying boat, which is a plane. He probably would have died right then and there if, like, they had actually, he wasn't going to try and save himself. He was like, if you kill me, you kill me. That's honestly fine. So he's going through quite a bit, but still has feelings for Annie. Annie recognizes that. They don't do any big, like, kiss or anything like that. They just are content sitting next to each other and being with each other for a time. And then, when they're at the port, and Mikasa walks over to Annie to be like, hey, you want to check your ODM gear? And she's like, I'm peacing out. You know, I'm done. My fight is gone. I got nothing else. And then she does a little glance over at Armin, and then Mikasa notices it, and she's all like, what? When did this happen? And she's just like, when did what happen? And Mikasa, being Mikasa, understands this very well. Why? Maybe it's because she's the same as Annie. Oh, what is that? Parallels between Eren and Reiner, and now Mikasa and Annie were the same?
God, I love it. I love how much you're enjoying this, because I loved it so much. I'm like, thank you for doing this properly. It wasn't cheesy or anything. It didn't take a center stage. They dedicated the time to it, a little bit of development, and we're good. Probably just like my favorite person in this whole episode is Armin. There's a scene coming up where I actually cried when we get to talk about Hanji, but Armin for me really stole the show this episode, or this special.
Yeah, I'd say Armin was the second most featured character in this episode, but there is a character who is featured a little bit more, because I think this is really, this episode 88, again, Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3, part 1, what I said, let there be carnage, blah, 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 is really the swan song for one Commander Hanji. But before we get to her, just a little tidbit, Flock is here, and now he's dead. All right, anyway, moving on to Hanji now.
That fucking bastard. Hate that bitch.
When he walks in as they're fixing up the plane, they're like, all right, the plane's about ready. And you can just see, because they obviously they put it off like way in the background to be deliberate, to be like, all right, if you notice it, you notice it. He's just walking in, and I'm just like, there's no fucking way. You hung on to a boat through the ocean for hours, if not days. How did you do? This guy is fucking dedicated, and now he's dead. What does that say about your religion?
He loves Eren Yeager. Now we have an issue, because he shot freaking bullets into the fuselage, and they're all like, oh shit, this is gonna take a little while. We gotta like weld over this, and they can feel the rumbling happening.
Yes.
And you're just like, okay, somebody needs to stall for time. And also, quick little tidbit, Levi is back, motherfuckers. You see him just like using his one like ring finger, and he's like, yeah, all I need is 2 fingers. I'll be good.
This motherfucker. So cool.
He has to go kill that freaking monkey, dude.
He's gotta kill the big monkey boy. Different from the other big monkey boy.
Freaking, he doesn't even care about Eren. I like how when they go into the paths, he's like, all right, Eren, just come out. I'll give you a little butt kick and we'll call it a day. I'm not going to be that mad at you.
But Zeke, I'm contractually obligated to beat the living shit out of, so give me your fucking brother right now.
Hanji ends up being the one that's like, no. You need all the Titans to stay around. I'm the commander. And also, I just love Titans. I gotta get a good look at these big boys.
I gotta see the rumbling.
Oh my god. And in the most emotional send-off ever, she turns to Armin and makes him the full captain of the Scouts Regiment. And it was so emotional because she took the time to like do the proper like ceremony of like say the words right, and you see the emotion on Armin's face. I was crying. I couldn't hold back.
It has come full circle at this point. So now you save Armin, and now he is the new Scout Regiment leader. It's so nice. I love that shit. And also, of course he is. Like, what, you're gonna make Jean or Jean the de facto captain? Like, what? No. He's a douche. He understands that he's a douche. And, like, I think he would make a decent captain, but it's gotta be Armin. Like, there's no fucking way it wouldn't be Armin at this point.
One of the best moments after this is, Levi kind of stops her, and it's just like, oh, and she's like, don't try and stop me. This is a chance for me to have a pretty fucking cool send-off, Levi. Like, let me take advantage of this. All he says is, give your heart. and he does that. Oh God, I'm gonna cry. He puts the fist on her chest, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna bawl my fucking eyes out, and this better look fucking cool. And my God, I could watch this scene for hours. For hours. They gave Hanji such good justice. Joe, just talk about it.
I absolutely will, because a common complaint that we have had, and I think a lot of people have had after MAPPA took over the adaptation of this anime, is that the ODM scenes have never really been up to par. But this is by far the best ODM animation MAPPA has given us. We get, I think, like 1 or 2 oneers in this thing of Hanji just flying around through all the colossal titans and the rumbling, absolutely demolishing them. She's using thunder spears, she's using the swords, she's using whatever she can to try and slow down this wall of flesh from crushing their teammates who are about to take off at this flying bloat, which is a plane. It's so good. And again, the added detail of the immense heat coming off of these titans, because Hanji doesn't get swatted out of the air by any of these titans, which will make sense in a little bit. It's all connected and it's all important, but she doesn't actually end up dying from being swatted by a titan. It's the fact that she's just flying around in between all of them. I can't even imagine how much heat she's exposed to right now. You see on her little scout cape, embers start forming, and then of course, because she's rushing through the air, lots of oxygen, immediately flames start burrowing up, and then she just is a comet. She is a flying comet, just taking down titans, and then in the midst of all that, ODM gear gives out, and her burning corpse just falls down to the ground, and you're just like, holy shit.
The music during it too, you're just like,
incredible.
This is the most intense thing I've ever watched.
It's so good. It's so good. And like literally going out in a blaze of glory, because she's on fire. Woo! Oh my God, it's so fucking good. And of course, the plane goes off. We see here also, when they cut to the shot of her in the footprint from really far away, like I could see her clothing, and I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck is this? And then like you catch on like a second or two, like, oh, okay. Hanji gets up, and you see all of the fallen comrades, from Erwin to other scout that I can't remember the name of because I haven't seen you in literally years. But she's there, and she's like, did I do it? And they're look up in the sky, the flying boat, it's just a plane, in the air. They manage to take off. They're away. And Hanji's like, I did my part. I can rest now. And I'm like, God bless you, Hanji. You can fucking rest. You earned it. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was probably the best part of the episode. That was phenomenal. And obviously everybody's sad on the plane. Levi just gives emotional like farewell to Hanji. And the boat with Gabby and Falco are going their separate ways, and also Annie's on there, and it's like, okay, we're just gonna go. We're going to Izuru, and we're gonna just hang out there and hopefully enjoy the last couple of minutes of our lives, and hope that the scouts can stop the rumbling, and at least we have somewhere to live. And they're like freaking out, like, no, we want to fight. Very, very emotional, because Falco is just extremely distraught.
Yeah, he ain't taking it too well, but we'll come back to them in a sec, because they have one thing to add to this entire thing.
Very end.
Yeah, but before that, while the Scout Regiment are in their flying boat, which again is just a plane, they're talking about the different ways that they think they're going to be able to either talk down or quote-unquote defeat Eren. They're going to try and kill him, probably. And then they get flashed into the coordinate. And they're like, what? Eren. And everyone's like screaming around, just be like, hey, Eren, you want to take a chill pill? You want to calm down? I got... Like, have a Snickers, dude. You're probably real fucking hungry. Look, you're nothing but skin and bone over there. Literally, just Snickers. Whoop, there you go. Everything's fine now. Eren finally talks to them, and he's such a douche, dude. He's just like, I gotta do this. Sorry, fuck you guys. And they're like, what? But come on, dude, you don't gotta do this. And they have the question because they're like, why? You can control with the founder every Eldian. Like, literally every Eldian, including the Titan wielders. Like, why haven't you done that? And it's his thesis, it's his belief. He's just like, I believe in true freedom. This is what freedom, like, I have the freedom to do what I want to do, and I will leave you guys with the freedom of what you're going to do. And he knows in his heart. He's just like, yeah, so I know you guys are going to try and stop me, so I'm getting it out there right now. There's no gray area here. You cannot talk me out of this. We are going to fight, and we are going to have to kill each other. And they're like, why? And he's like, because Just what I believe in. All right, peace, bye. And then disconnects them from the coordinate. And you're just like, I mean, this is obviously where it was going to have to end up, but fuck, I guess we're going to have to go there.
Yeah. Also, we finally see like a rear end view of his Titan form, and it is obvious. It's disgusting. This is so gross.
He's got little legs.
Like when I saw Armin's drawing, I was like, "What the fuck?"
What the fuck is this? It's just a fucking circle with a bunch of, or like a half circle with a bunch of lines in it. You're like, what? He's like, so I presume it moves much like an insect, and I was like, oh Christ, you're right. It's gonna be all of his little rib bones moving along on the little ground. But the actual silhouette that we get to see of this thing, horrifying. Like we always knew it was horrifying, but good Christ, is this thing a fucking monster?
And now we're on the long flight to the Marley Air Base, which is where the crazy lady told them, was like, okay, this is where Aaron's going to attack, so you need to go there. And they only have half a tank of gas because they were like, we just need to get the fuck out of here. So Anya Capone's like, motherfuckers, I am going to fly this shit like you've never seen before.
Dude, Anya Capone is such a real one. When he was flying the plane, at first I was like, how does Anya Capone know how to fly the plane? And then I was like, he's a pilot. That's right. I forgot he was the one that got them out of Marley in the beginning of the final season, which happened 3 years ago. But so, of course, you know how to fly the plane. And I was just like, God, that's so fucking cool. And he's so, God, I love Anya Capone.
They've done him justice really, really well. After dedicating some time to, you know, the scouts and everything, we jump back to the actual base where they're heading to, but we're going to view it from the Marleyan and Eldian people perspective.
Turns out, Annie's father, Reiner's mother, and a bunch of the other Eldians that like were in their internment camps over at Marley stole a train, and they were driving it, driving? I guess you drive a train. They were chugging a train. They were chugging the train all the way along the tracks, choo-choo, and they get to the airbase. But before that, they see all the Zeppelins, the big old air balloons take off, and they're just like, what's happening? So they get up there, and like all the other Marleyan people and Eldians that are sitting up there, they're just kind of like, what do you have? There's nothing left up here. How are we going to escape? Like, we can't escape the rumbling now. And then you hear over the intercom, one of the Marleyan generals. He comes over the intercom and he says, this will be our final stand. Titans, those motherfuckers can't fly. So we're going to drop some bombs on them. Like, the people are all kind of like, yeah, it makes sense. This is our last hurrah. Let's fucking do it. And I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, this will not go well for you. There is going to be something. This is going to end poorly
Mr.
for all of you.
Monkey Man.
Yep, it's the return of Mr. Monkey Man, who
is monkey boy with big monkey problems.
Yes! More big monkey boys with big monkey problems. I need that in every anime that I watch. But we see the Beast Titan's made out of what I assume is Titan hardening.
That's what it looked like. It looked like it was almost like the same, like Aaron's bones came together and formed him.
Yeah.
Very strange. Again, we don't know the exact physics. Like, they don't even know the physics of, like, they're like, where is Aaron in this actual freaking body? Where is Zeke in this body? Like, how does this all work out? So we're probably not going to get a full explanation of that, but they're just like, yeah, just roll with it. He can form.
He can form. And then he forms, instead of like crushing rocks, he forms more Titan hardening in his hand, and he just chuck those at the Zeppelins. Of course, it hits the bombs. Everything explodes. You have fucking Avatar Last Airbender vibes shit going on in here, where all the Zeppelins are just crashing into each other and exploding. And then everyone's like, oh, well, there goes our last hope. All right, start praying to your whatever God you believe in, everyone. All right, just turn off the controller when you're done. That's it. I'm going to lock up here. Yeah, everything's fine. Good. All right, see you guys later. Bye.
The best part about this is, in these last couple of moments where you're realizing you're about to die, Reiner's mom is just like, wow, how fucked up is this that I, completely, my whole life, I've raised my son just out of hatred for these people that I wanted him to fight against. Even the big commander guy gives this big speech like, if this is to work, we've made so many mistakes, people. We have to learn from it. And when they finally see the fucking goddamn armored Titan fly down and just punch the shit out of Zeke, and they're like, wait a minute. Paradise Island came to save us? It is such a good fucking feeling, Joe. Oh God, my blood was through the roof. My pressure, I was like, I'm gonna explode.
In moments like that, I like to think back to what Gabby said in the last part, where she was just like, there were no island devils. There were only people. And you're just like, yes, this is the point. And I enjoy it so much because it's such a universal theme, and it's just so gratifying seeing the absolute shit hit the fan, and then watching all these characters realize their mistakes and realize this universal truth where it's just like, people are good, people are bad. It's not because of what group you're a part of. It's not because of where you live. It's just because of who you are and what you've been through. Simple as that.
Yep. And we see, we start the beginning fight of Reiner fighting Monkey Boy, and he actually like rips him off of Aaron. So I'm interested to see how that works. Like, 'cause at first I thought he had to stay attached, so I don't know how that's gonna work. And then all the scouts, they couldn't land because of how difficult it was, but finally they did, and kind of just like, okay, are we gonna get the fight? And we cut away. But we do get a little tidbit: Falco, Cabby, and Annie on the boat. Which, Joe, tell us a little bit. What's the information that we were given?
So it turns out, because Falco drank the spinal fluid from Zeke, which is partially why his Jaw Titan looks so bestial, is because now he has some of that essence inside of him or something like that. He also has the ability to, like, he can see some of Zeke's memories. So I don't quite understand how it's like manifesting in his brain, but he says something about being able to fly. And I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? And then they also drop the information that, hey, so the female Titan can like absorb aspects from other Titans, right? And I was like, what?
It was interesting because Falco's like, look, I've been seeing these memories, and the most common one is of flying over clouds. And you're like, okay, so, and Falco's like, and I've also heard that you have this special power. And all three of them are looking at each other like, But Annie's just kind of like calling it out, like, nope, we're not even thinking about this. Like, we're not even going to look into this. We're just going to go and live the rest of our lives happily. But I have a feeling that's not how it's going to turn out.
Oh, I cannot wait. Fall 2023, the actual, I swear to God, actual finale.
If it's not, I swear, I'm actually going to be, I don't even know. I don't even care.
I don't know who's doing it, but whoever's in charge of this shit, I'm going to find you.
But we got it, and this was awesome. There's a chance that this show could be one of the greatest ever. I mean, really, this thing has been on such a journey. 10 years, Joe. 10 years since I was in 8th grade, and I sat down and watched this first episode because everybody was freaking out about it. And yet we're here. It's kind of insane. I am so happy to see what it's become, and I can't wait for the ending. I'm okay with waiting till the fall. I'm all right with that. Like, honestly, after seeing how beautiful this was, I'm like, girl, take your time. I am in no rush. Like, this is phenomenal.
I feel there's nothing more I can add to that. We're excited for the final finale of Attack on Titan, and this part just as good as all the previous. And with all that being said, always remember, we'll love you, we'll leave you, and goodbye.